9 to 12% of an apple is its natural sugar, sucrose and fructose, supplying an apple's sweetness. The acid content makes up only 1% of an apple, but that's what gives the fruit its bite. There are 3 kinds of acid in an apple. Malic acid and tartaric acid aid in digestion. The third acid is citric, which gives apples a slightly sour taste. Citric acid helps slow down the browning process after an apple is cut open. The blend and proportion of sugars to acids is unique to each variety and accounts for its distinct flavor.
This apple is called Spy Gold, and I can only surmise that somebody had a golden apple and a northern spy. But I don't know because its parentage is a little bit cloudy. But it's an old variety, and we've got a few trees here. It's very crisp and cooks up really well. We don't have it for pick your own, but some orchards may. But you can find it on some farm stands that like sort of to keep those old apples around because they're really interesting. And this is one of the ones that's a really interesting eating apple.
Home grease. This is the most unique apple that you can find. It's very russeted skin, very dark, and it's a very dense apple. And it's a little nutty in flavor. This is one that you'd eat with. You wouldn't use it for cooking, but it does make wonderful cider. It's really fun to grind up and put into a sweet cider.
Hudson's Golden Gem, and I think that, the name sort of talks about this a little bit. It's kind of got a nice golden kind of blush on it. This is one of the russeted varieties, meaning the skin has almost like a sandpaper feel on it. This apple was found as a chance seedling around 1930 in Oregon and was marketed out there by a company that was called the Hudson Fruit Tree Company, and that's where the Hudsons came from. It was their Hudson's Golden Gem. It's very sweet and has very little acid, so the sugar is really pronounced, and some people actually say it has a pear-like taste. It's one of the most delicate apples despite this sandy skin. We have to handle this with kid gloves to pick it because otherwise it'll bruise very easily. It's great eaten fresh, and it makes a wonderful pie because of that nice sweet overtone. Red Delicious. This is one of the apples that of course is mostly widely known because you can go in the grocery store any time of year and find Red Delicious that are probably a little bit larger, a little more conical in this, and shined up like a shiny new car. We grow lots of Red Delicious here in the Northeast, but they're slightly different than the ones that you can normally find in the store from the West Coast. So let's look at a Gala apple. This apple is from New Zealand, and I believe Cox's Orange Pippin is in its parentage. And as you can see, it's a different shape than McIntosh, got kind of a nice, almost orangey blush on it. And this is a really, really good eating apple. Galas are grown widely in New Hampshire now, widely available for pick your own. The season runs from mid-September to mid-October, and they are one of the sweetest apples that you'll get during that time of year.
In the mid-1900s, a method of slowing down apple maturation was developed. It is called controlled atmosphere storage, and it allows us to enjoy crisp and flavorful apples throughout the year. The natural wax that an apple produces is called its bloom. This prevents the apple from drying out. The bloom is easily rubbed off, although it's perfectly harmless to eat.
And this is a good example. It's the natural wax that's on the apple. If I wipe it a couple times, it shines right up because it is a wax. And it looks like that. Wonderful. Wipe it off, shine those apples up even more. So let's talk about a crispin, or in some orchards they call this a matsu. It's actually a variety from Japan, and that's how the matsu name got there. In the United States, we decided that we really wanted to call it a crispin because it really accurately describes what this apple is. Very, very crisp and juicy. It is a late maturing apple in New Hampshire. We typically don't pick this until almost the second week of October or later. When they get ripe, there will be a little yellow or a pink blush on them, but they can also be nearly 100% green. One of the nice things about this apple is that it is a very good keeping apple. It's one of the ones you can take home, put in your refrigerator, and enjoy this till Christmas or beyond. Spartans. Very red apple, very similar to a McIntosh. And you will often find them growing on the same farms that grow a lot of McIntosh. We don't grow too many Spartans here, and they're actually in a part of the orchard that isn't for pick your own. But a lot of people will have them for pick your own. They're ready about the second week in September through October, and it has a little more acid taste than even a Macintosh does, but they're very, very similar. One of the things about these is, like Macintosh, when you get them home, put them in your refrigerator. Here on our farm, our storages run about 32 or 33 degrees, so putting them in a cool spot is good. A refrigerator is even better.
Apples are unique in that they lend themselves to breakfast, lunch, snack, or dinner. They can be added to everything from cereals or pancakes in the morning to salad at night. Good side dishes and desserts include applesauce, Waldorf salad, apple crisp, and, of course, apple pie.
Golden Supreme. This is a nice apple that has just come to the market now. This is the first year we've actually had a crop of them. They're very, very new. One of the parents is a Golden Delicious. Beautiful coloring. It gets an orange texture on the cheek of it, which makes it very good for applesauces. If you cook the applesauce and add the skin to it, it brings out that texture and the color into your applesauce, so it makes a very nice color. It's a very sweet apple, very, very juicy, and wonderful for pick your own because they're very abundant on the tree and they're great for picking. Oh, Jonathan, old-time favorite. Snappy. If somebody likes a tart apple, this is it. Comes out mid-September to late September. Very, very red. Again, excellent for sauces because if you cook it with the skins on, you get that wonderful red color in your sauce without adding anything special to it. And it's great for eating. It's tart, though. And again, you can see the pink color inside, which will make beautiful applesauce. Ribston Pippin. Again, an old apple. Not found everywhere. It has its difficulties in growing. That's why you won't see it on many commercial orchards. It tends to be a biennial bearer. Not every year we'll have a big crop of them. But we had some this year, and the chefs that we sent them out to got very excited. They made special tarts out of them and special flans out of them. It's an apple, when it's cooked, it holds up well, and the texture is very different. They thoroughly enjoyed finding them on the market this year.